Hannah's life was a mixture of love and pain. She was married to Elkanah, a man who truly cared for her. Yet her womb remained closed. Each passing year, she watched Peninnah, Elkanah's other wife, carry children in her arms, while Hannah carried only tears. Peninnah mocked her cruelly, flaunting her children before Hannah's eyes.
Oh Lord,
Every
I have
word
been
pierced
so
her heart like a
unhappy.
dagger.
I
Each
ask
year,
you,
the
Lord,
family
to
traveled
remember
to
me.
Shiloh
No,
to
my
worship the Lord.
I am not drunk.
The temple was
pouring out my
alive with
soul
songs
before
and
the Lord.
sacrifices.
Do not mistake me for a
But
worthless
Hannah's soul
woman.
was heavy with sorrow. At the feast, Peninnah's laughter grew louder, and Hannah's grief deeper. She often pushed her food away, too broken to eat, her tears falling silently onto her plate. Elkanah tried to comfort her, saying, "Hannah, why do you weep? Am I not better to you than 10 sons?" His words were tender, but they could not silence the ache of her barrenness. In her culture, a woman's honor was tied to her children. Hannah felt shame each time she saw mothers holding their little ones. Though her husband loved her, society branded her as empty. Yet deep within, a small flame of faith still flickered. Hannah knew her answer would not come from man. It must come from God. The question that haunted her heart was clear. Would the Lord remember her? Her spirit was crushed, her soul desperate. But a bold decision was forming within her. Soon, she would pour out her pain before the God who hears every cry. One year, after the family had eaten in Shiloh, Hannah could no longer carry her sorrow in silence. She rose from the feast and walked into the temple, her heart pounding with desperation. Eli the priest sat nearby, watching quietly. But Hannah saw no one. Her soul was too heavy for human eyes to see. She fell to her knees and wept bitterly, her body trembling with grief. With trembling lips, she made a vow before the Lord. "O Lord Almighty, if you will only look upon my misery and remember me, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you all the days of his life. No razor will touch his head." Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Eli, seeing her, thought she was drunk. He rebuked her, saying, "How long will you keep on being drunk? Put away your wine." Hannah lifted her tear-stained face and pleaded, "No, my Lord. I am not drunk. I was pouring out my soul before the Lord. Do not mistake me for a worthless woman. I have been praying out of great anguish and grief." Eli's tone softened. He said, "Go in peace. And may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him." Hannah rose from her knees. The tears on her face were replaced with quiet strength. For the first time in years, her heart felt lighter. She had left her pain in the hands of the Almighty. After her prayer at Shiloh, Hannah returned home with Elkanah. Something within her had shifted. She no longer carried sorrow like a cloak, for she had left her grief before the Lord. Though her arms were still empty, her heart now beat with quiet hope. In time, God did what no man could do. He remembered Hannah. The Lord opened her womb, and her longing was fulfilled. Her body stirred with new life, and her heart overflowed with joy. At last, she conceived and bore a son. She named him Samuel, saying, "Because I asked the Lord for him." The birth of Samuel was more than a personal victory. It was proof that God hears the cries of the broken-hearted. Hannah's tears had turned to laughter, and her shame had turned to honor. Elkanah rejoiced with her. But Hannah never forgot the vow she made. Samuel was her miracle, but he was also her offering. Year after year, Elkanah's family went to Shiloh to worship. But when Samuel was still a little boy, Hannah stayed behind. She told her husband, "After the child is weaned, I will take him and present him before the Lord, and he will live there always." Her words were firm, and her heart unwavering. She had prayed for this child, and now she prepared to give him back to the God who answered her. Each day with Samuel was precious, for she knew her time with him would soon belong to the Lord. The time came when Samuel was weaned, and Hannah remembered the promise she had made before the Lord. Though her heart overflowed with love for her son, her spirit was steadfast. She knew Samuel did not belong to her alone. He was a gift, entrusted to her for a purpose greater than herself. Gathering her courage, Hannah prepared for the journey to Shiloh. She did not come empty-handed. Along with Elkanah, she carried a 3-year-old bull for sacrifice, an ephah of flour, and a skin of wine. But her most precious offering was the little boy who walked beside her. When they arrived at the temple, Hannah approached Eli the priest. Her eyes shone with both tears and joy. "Pardon me, my lord," she said softly. "I am the woman who stood here beside you, praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life, he will be given over to him." There, in the temple, she placed Samuel into the care of Eli. The little boy's innocent face did not understand the weight of his mother's vow, but heaven witnessed her obedience. Hannah's sacrifice was not one of loss, but of faith. She trusted that the God who gave her Samuel would also guide him. As Samuel remained in Shiloh to serve, Hannah's heart broke and healed at once, for she had given her son back to God. After giving Samuel to the Lord, Hannah did not sink into despair. Instead, her heart overflowed with gratitude. Out of her lips poured one of the most powerful prayers of praise ever spoken. She lifted her voice in Shiloh, and the words echoed like music through the temple courts. "My heart rejoices in the Lord. In him my horn is lifted high. My mouth boasts over my enemies. For I delight in your deliverance." Her song declared the greatness of God. She proclaimed that the Lord brings down the proud, but lifts up the humble. He gives children to the barren, and humbles those who think themselves secure. She spoke of his power over life and death, declaring that the Lord alone is the judge of all the earth. Hannah's song was not only personal, it was prophetic. It revealed God's justice, his sovereignty, and his plan to exalt the weak, while silencing the arrogant. Her voice carried hope beyond her own life, pointing to a God who raises leaders and establishes kings. For Hannah, this psalm was victory. The woman once mocked for barrenness now stood as a living testimony of God's faithfulness. Her enemies' laughter had been silenced, not by her strength, but by the power of the Almighty. With joy burning in her spirit, Hannah left Samuel in the Lord's house, not in sorrow, but in worship. Her praise sealed her vow, and her story became a beacon of faith for generations to come. Though Hannah left Samuel in Shiloh, her story did not end in sorrow. Each year, when Elkanah's family traveled to worship, Hannah visited her son. With her own hands, she made him a little robe and brought it to him. Every stitch was a symbol of love, a reminder that though she gave him to God, she never stopped being his mother. Eli the priest blessed Elkanah and Hannah, saying, "May the Lord give you children by this woman, to take the place of the one she prayed for and gave to the Lord." God honored that blessing. Hannah conceived again, and the Lord gave her more children, 3 sons and 2 daughters. The woman once mocked for her emptiness was now surrounded by laughter and life. Meanwhile, young Samuel grew up in the presence of the Lord. Unlike the sons of Eli, who walked in corruption, Samuel walked in obedience. The Lord's favor rested upon him. And he grew in wisdom and strength. Even as a boy, he was being shaped for greatness. Hannah's sacrifice had become the seed of a prophet. The child she released became the man who would anoint kings and guide Israel. Her story of sorrow and prayer, faith and fulfillment, stood as a testimony for all who doubted God's power. From barrenness to blessing, from tears to triumph, Hannah's journey revealed a timeless truth. The God who remembers is also the God who rewards.